Today, we're talking about estate planning. Here's the question. Dear Kat, my wife and I are about to retire from our manufacturing business. We have a 23-year-old daughter. She's an only child. Lately, she had gotten mixed up with the wrong company, staying out all night and spending money like there's no tomorrow. We are very worried that she will blow through her inheritance and end up being a sugar baby. Could you please advise? Let me tell you a secret. I want to be a sugar baby. The only problem is my potential sugar daddies are all in the nursing homes already. Very old. They don't want to have a sugar baby. Jokes aside, I feel for these parents. You bring up your children the best you can, but sometimes they don't turn out the way you want them to. The best thing to do in this situation is to set up a trust to administer her inheritance. You don't give her the money all at one go. So what's the difference between a will and a trust? Look at this durian. Let's say it represents your money. If you use a will to distribute your money to your daughter, she will get everything at one go, the whole durian. She may squander the money. But if you set up a trust to administer the inheritance, the durian will be passed on to the trust. The trust will hold it for your daughter and give her a slice. Whoops, no flash. Give her a slice every month according to your wishes. Okay, you can determine how much she's going to get, like maybe 10,000 ringgit a month, adjusted for inflation. Okay, that's all for my durian. I think you can have many durians in your inheritance. Who can forget the case of Madam Pushpa Rani? In 2012, her husband, who worked with the Changi airport, was killed after being hit by a taxi hijacked by a robber at the airport in Singapore. Insurance payout and public donations for her amounted to nearly 1 million Sing dollars. The Changi Airport Group hired financial consultants to help her manage the money. She was supposed to apportion 200,000 Sing dollars to each of her 4 children, with the rest for herself. However, unbeknownst to her financial consultants, she took out her children's money and invested it into a transport business with her brother. The business failed. She also went for holidays and gave money away to friends and relatives. At the end of just 1 year, all the money was gone, all 1 million Sing dollars of it. As you can see, it is very dangerous to leave a big sum of money to someone who does not have the competency to handle it. Hey, if you find this interesting, please like and subscribe. Back to the case of the wayward daughter, you can set up a trust to hold the money for her, and the trustee will hand out to her the money bit by bit, like what I showed just now. Then she will not be tempted to squander everything. You can set up conditions like maybe 10,000 ringgit a month, adjusted for inflation. Then pay her the balance when she's 40 years old. Presumably, she's too old then to be a sugar baby. The point is, you don't give her all the money all at once. And that's what Anita Mui did. The late Hong Kong singer made a will and set up a trust for her mother before she passed away from cervical cancer in 2003. Both her mother and elder brother are gamblers. The trust would pay her mum a monthly allowance of 70,000 Hong Kong dollars, which is now increased to 250,000 Hong Kong dollars to adjust for inflation. Any balance after her mum dies would be donated to charity. Despite this, her mother repeatedly complained that the amount was not enough and filed lawsuits against the trust, attempting to receive the money in a lump sum rather than monthly distribution. The court ruled in favor of the trust. Now, the trust is a legal structure to hold money on behalf of your beneficiary. But where does the trust get the money from? There are 3 options. The first one, you use a life insurance policy to fund your trust. Now, we're talking about people who want to leave a legacy for your children. I know there are some people who say that, their children should make their own way. They don't want to leave anything to them. Okay, we're not talking about those. We are talking about people who want to leave something for their children. In the traditional way, without insurance, you just don't use the money you want to leave behind. Simple. Usually, this money is invested into properties, so your children inherit properties. Right now, Malaysia doesn't have any inheritance tax. But there's no guarantee that we won't have any in the future. Inheritance tax will eat into the value of your legacy. Besides, property prices are quite sluggish now. So any properties that you plan to give to your children may not increase so much in value. Another disadvantage of this traditional method is you can't use the money that you've worked so hard for. It's tied up in properties. Let me show you a smart way to leave money to your families. If your health permits, buy a life insurance policy. No frills, just life. Then assign the policy to the trust. Assign means transfer ownership. Then when you migrate to heaven, the insurance company will pay the sum assured to the trust, which will then distribute it to your beneficiaries. The benefit of this approach is it frees up your money for you to use during your lifetime. Let me show you what I mean. For example, you have 4 million ringgit. You want to leave each of your children 1 million ringgit each. With the traditional method, that means that you can't touch the 3 million ringgit. That leaves you with just 1 million ringgit to spend on yourself. Quite unfair, really. What's 1 million ringgit today, right? But if you have a life insurance policy, you can spend 3 million ringgit on yourself. Let me show you how. The premium of a 3 million ringgit policy, life policy, is about 35,000 a year for a 45-year-old male of standard health. If you live up to 80 years old, that means you need to pay premium for 35 years. 80 minus 45, yeah. So 35 years times 35,000 premium per year, your total premium is 1.225 million ringgit over 35 years. This is the amount that you need to set aside for paying premium. So the balance of 2.775 million ringgit is freed up for your use. Without insurance, you can only use 1 million ringgit on yourself. But with insurance, you can use close to 3 million ringgit on yourself. Brilliant, right? The second option is if you wish to grow your money. You can transfer a portion of your wealth that you wish to give to your beneficiary into the trust and appoint the trustee to invest it for you. In the example above, you can transfer 3 million ringgit cash into the trust today and give a mandate to the trustee to grow it for your beneficiaries. As a licensed financial advisor, I work with a trustee to help grow my clients' money safely using international saving plans with capital guarantees. These plans invest in S&P 500 promissory notes. Capital guarantees are given by the top 5 banks in the world like Citibank, HSBC, JP Morgan, etc. This keeps the risk low while giving your money an opportunity to grow. And all these products are approved by our authorities. The third option is perhaps the best option. It's a hybrid of the two. You can assign a life insurance policy to the trust and also transfer some cash into it so that we can grow it for you. One thing you need to take note of is the impact of tax. Yes, you can ask the trustee to put your money into just fixed deposit. It is very safe. But take note that you do need to pay tax on the interest earned from your fixed deposit because the trustee is a corporation. So your money is reduced by the tax and it will also erode in value because of inflation. The net interest after tax will be definitely less than the inflation rate. As a comparison, insurance proceeds and any gains from international saving plans are not taxable. Lastly, you can determine the length of the trust. For example, if your daughter is more matured after 10 years, you can terminate the trust and take back all your money. This trust structure can be used by Muslims and non-Muslims. For Muslims, we are able to put your money into Sharia-compliant investment products. If you find this video interesting, check out my other videos on retirement planning. See you in the next video.